Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you all for joining. Thank you guys for being a part of this amazing community of leaders and mission makers, right? Impact achievers. So I greet you all today. So listen, today we want to talk about getting ready to apply for grants. How many of you all have applied for grant funding? Say me. How many of you all are looking to apply for grant funding? Put 2 in the chat. If you have been thinking about wanting to, considering applying for grant funding for your nonprofit, put 2 in the chat. For those of you guys who don't know who I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert, over 35 years of experience helping nonprofit leaders start, grow, and sustain themselves. I also am an expert in the area of grant funding. I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to just go through some of the steps that are going to be needed to prepare your organizations to get grant funding. For those of you all who are registered for the training on this coming Thursday, this is a document that I created to help organizations get ready to, prepare themselves for the grant process. All right. So this is my assessment tool, and I'm going to be sharing this tool, giving this tool to everybody who signs up for and attends the workshop on Thursday. All right. So when you are seeking grant dollars, it's important to note that not only are you seeking the money, but that the grant funder needs some information from you as well. All right. So the grant application itself is comprised of information to give the funder an idea about you as an organization, about the importance and the relevance of your program, about the impact of your program, as well as the budget. All right, so that's the application components. Okay, those are the application components. And on Thursday, I'm going to really dive into what that looks like. But in addition to the questions that they ask in the application, there are other things that they're also considering. All right. And so I want to make sure that you are prepared for the things that the funder is expecting from the grant proposal itself, and what it is that they often think about before they make a decision, recognizing that the grant process is a competitive process, right? Everybody has an organization, everybody has a program, everybody has a need, everybody has a budget, everybody has, requests, right? That's what the grant proposal is. But there are also factors that they are thinking about when they're making their decision. And so I wanted to go through these with you. Again, if you are signed up for my free clinic, my grant writing clinic on Thursday, it's going to be Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will give you this document. All right. But those of you who may not or cannot, whatever, I'm going through it anyway. All right. But you guys can get this when you sign up and attend the workshop on Thursday. All right. The one thing that the funder is really looking for is using their grant dollars to invest in a business, right? A nonprofit that is clear about what it does, how it does it, and how much that costs, right? So they're making a decision based upon the clarity of your proposal, but they're also looking at your organization, right? So the things like, does your organization have a structure? Do you have board members that give? That might be one of the questions that the funder asks is, do you have a board? They may even ask you for your board list. And they may ask you, does your board, or how much does your board give as it relates to the overall programmatic or organizational budget? How much does your board give? What percentage of that giving is secured by the board? All right. So that is a question that many funders will ask. That's aside from, describing your program. That's aside from asking about your outcomes. They may want to know information about your board. They may want to know their affiliation. They may want to know how long they've been on the board. They may want to know, does your board give? All right. So these are some things that you want to make sure that you have in place or have knowledge of when you are applying, okay? When you are applying for the grant. The questions, in addition to, that the funder may ask, all right? I wanna make sure that you are prepared. One of the things that I have learned over my 35 years of doing grant writing work is that the funder has to make a decision that is going to suit their desire to have the greatest impact. They want to support an organization that is clearly led, that has a clear mission, that understands their finances. So while technically it's free money, that's money that you don't have to repay. Anything that you got to apply for, anything that takes criteria, you want to make sure that your organization is showing up and appearing in the best light possible at every chance, okay? At every chance. So again, in addition to telling the funder what you want or sharing with them your great idea, these are some things that the funder uses to make a decision on who they're going to give their funds to. Remembering, everybody has a program. Everybody has an organization. Everybody has a need. Everybody has a budget. But how and what else goes into the decision-making process on the funder side is what I want to give you a clue about, okay? Not only am I a grant writer, I'm also a grant reviewer. And so when it comes down to the funder has hundreds of proposals to consider, you want to make sure that your proposal stands out, all right? And so this tool was created probably 8 or 9 years ago. I created this tool for my VIP clients, okay? And I'm sharing it with you all now because again, this is the year 2023 is where I'm really focused on helping organizations execute, all right? I really want to share behind the curtain and just let everybody who wants it to have access to this information, all right? So if you guys are registered for the workshop coming up, I will be sharing it with those of you all who are in attendance, okay? So the other thing that they're looking for, in addition to leadership, some of your funders may ask for an organizational chart, okay? They may ask you for your board list. They may ask for that information as it relates to that, all right? So make sure that you are aware of that. The other thing that they may ask for that is not typically thought about is the impact of your organization. One of the questions that often we as grant writers within my team, we've got to articulate the need that your organization addresses with the facts and the stats, right? With the facts and the stats, hashtag facts, hashtag stats, all right? So the funder wants to know not only is your program activity important, but we want to know that you are in fact meeting a need in your community. I want you to hear me. Activity is not impact. So the funder has to make a decision when they are reviewing the grant proposals, which organization is going to have the greatest impact. All right. Again, everybody has a program. Everybody has an organization. Everybody has a budget, but they're looking to fund impact. So when they're making a decision, they're trying to figure out which of my money that is being spent, right? The funds that are granted, they're looking at where will this money have the greatest impact? Are you all following me? All right. So when we're looking to prepare your grant application, one question you want to think about is, how will the world or your community be different as a result of your work? That's impact. How will the work produce a difference? All right? Because again, this goes into the decision-making of the funder. Everybody gets asked the same question in the grant application. Everybody gets asked the same questions, but those organizations that are considered favorably are the ones that are able to what? Articulate the greatest impact. Okay? You're going in on an even playing field, but those that are able to articulate impact, grab the attention. Those that are able to state the impact, what is the impact? And then, of course, what's the cost for that impact? That goes into your budget, all right? That goes into your budget. So I just want to give you some information that's not generally talked about or discussed or freely found on Google, all right? They also want to know, that comes into consideration is, can your impact be measured? Can your impact be measured? Can you state goals and objectives of your organization and your program, all right? And then how many people will this program serve? Again, the funder is making a decision based upon impact. It's not the money. They already have the money. They're already going to grant the money, right? They're going to give the money. But when they're having to make a consideration out of hundreds of proposals, again, everybody has a program, everybody has a budget, everybody has a need. What else goes into that decision making? It has to be the impact, because their money is going to support impact, all right? They also want to make sure that your organization is able to have a plan for success or sustainability, okay? They want to make sure that your programs align with your mission. Now, for those of you who have what we call mission creep, all right? These are people that do a lot of things. We feed the homeless, we help youth, we give out clothes, we want to provide housing, you know, we do shopping, we purchase clothes, you do a lot of things. But the funder is looking for organizations that knows why you exist and understands the goal of the impact that you want to achieve. They want to make sure that their funds are going to help achieve goals. Those goals let them know you have a plan. If you have goals set, goals for your program, goals for your organization, what are goals? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. That means you got a plan to achieve those goals. If you don't have any goals, if you're just kind of winging it and doing programs just because you got a lot to do, there's a lot, Jen, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. No, it's the work that's going to produce the greatest impact. I'm going to say that again. It's the work that is going to meet the greatest need and have the greatest impact. The grant dollars are an investment into impact. I say this every day. I don't know if anybody listens to me. 98% of your donors give because of impact, including the grant funds, okay? So when you are considering writing your grant proposal, you want to think about not just what you want or what you need. You want to be prepared to give, to share, to show with the funder what they need to make the decision, okay? Because everybody fills out the same application. Everybody has the same requirements or criteria to apply. But the things that are not stated on the application come into play when the funder is making a decision on who gets the money. All right? On who gets the money. Y'all, they don't call me the grant guru for nothing. Now, when you hire myself and my team, my job is to make sure that you are as prepared as possible to apply and be considered favorable for these grants, okay? And a lot of that is understanding, again, what is it that the funder needs to see beyond the application, right? The money is not the issue. That money is not the issue. It's how you present your organization, not just your request, all right? The other thing that they want to take a look at is the finances. They want to know your budget. The budget is not just your expenses. They also want to know your revenue. Now, this is really key. You are a public organization. Your nonprofit is public. So the funder can look and see what you have reported through your 990s of what you have raised previously. You are a public organization. And again, these things are considered beyond the application requirements or beyond the application responses, okay? Does your organization have an approved budget? Does your organization have an audited budget, right? If many of you all who have applied for grants, you've gotten that question. Do you have an audited budget? If you don't have an audited budget, many times they will take an approved budget. What's an approved budget? An approved budget by your board, okay? And so they may want to see that approved budget. Now, if y'all are not operating in the way of board approvals as it relates to budget, that's a whole different conversation. But I'm just letting you know that these are responses that you can expect on the grant application, all right? Do you have any financial statements, all right? I know that many of you like to run out and say, well, Jen, I have my bank account. I have my bank receipts, okay? Your bank statements is not the same as financial statements, all right? Your bank statements are not the same as financial statements, okay? The financial statements talks about what is your year to date? How much have you spent? How much have you raised year to date, okay? That report is expected in a certain format. They're not going to take your bank statements. You cannot send the funder your bank statement, all right? Your bank statements may have other things in it, all right, that may not be tied directly to what they're asking for. If they want a program budget, if they want an organizational budget, you should have accurate financial statements. Why is that important? The funder wants to know, how do you manage your money? Because if you're not managing your money, you're likely not to manage theirs either. Okay? So these things, again, are taken into consideration when the funder is making a decision on who gets awarded the grants. It may not have anything to do with your program. It may not have anything to do with your capability, but it just comes to the decision that they must make on who's going to be awarded. And you want to make sure that you are. All right? Do you have a dollar amount that the organization needs to raise through grants? That's what they want to know. They want to know, how much are you seeking in grants? What percentage of your overall budget is this grant? They may even ask you, what is your time management plan? They may ask you, what other resources are coming into the organization to support this program? Again, they are making decisions based beyond the application. These other things help them to be assured, comfortable, confident that your organization is one that they can support, okay? They may ask in the application, can you explain the competitive advantage of your organization? What is your competitive advantage? That's a question that you're going to need to answer, right? What is your advantage? One, you recognize when you say advantage, what it is that the funder needs to see and understand, what the funder supports, and what you understand about what the funder's history is, the funder's giving is, and what makes you the choice that they should make for these funds. All right. These are things that the funder asks in addition to what is the name of your organization? What is the mission of your organization? Where is your organization located? What is the background of your organization? These are other things that the funder is going to want to know. They may ask the question, has the project and related grant seeking been approved by your board? They may ask, do you have or can you get the right staff for this project, right? They want to know that this organization or this program is being staffed appropriately. For those of you all who are giving everything away and showing that there is no staff, there is no one paid to run this organization, you might be doing yourself a disservice. That does not elevate your status or standing with the funder, right? That you don't have someone responsible on paper, right? As in terms of a staff person. There should be somebody paid within the organization. It's not the board. It's either the executive director or the person who's running the program. That's a whole different conversation, but just know who's responsible for this program, who's responsible for the accounting of the dollars, who's responsible for ensuring that the goals and the impact of the organization is being achieved. That's what the funder wants to know also. All right. And then the funder may want to know, does the project meet the stated and actual focus areas of the funder? The funder wants to know, do you know what we support? Are you clear about who we are and what we do and what our interests are? Again, 98% of any donor, no matter who it is, they've already decided what type of programs they support and what programs they that they give priority to. So they're not open to just receiving applications from anybody, but they want to see, do you know who we are? Do you know what we support? And if you do, then share how your program, your organization's mission aligns with what we are interested in, right? That lets them know, hey, you're looking to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Those factors go into the consideration, okay? The funder is going to look at your website. If you don't have a website, you should. The funder may look at your social media. If you're not consistent in showing and sharing relevance, importance, impact, mission, and vision, you should be. All right, you should be. Again, they've got to make a decision based upon hundreds of proposals that they receive. You want your organization to stand out, okay? Is your impact local or regional? Again, they've got to make a decision on impact, okay? And not that you change your program or shift your program for money. You never do that. You never do that. You never do that, all right? You want to align your proposal. You want to submit your proposal to those funders that you align with, all right? That they would see as important, relevant to what they want to have accomplished, okay? The other thing that they may ask you about is your external relationships. They may ask you for letters of support. They may ask you who else within your community is supporting or participating in this program. Who else is governing governing this, okay? They may want to know what is the involvement of your board, right? They may want to know about your volunteers. Who else is giving in-kind contributions? All right. Do you have any partnering organizations? Do you have active volunteers? Your donors want to know who else, what else affects your organization's success. All right. So listen, guys, I wanted to share this really quickly because we are fast approaching. Did I say fast approaching? We are fast approaching the middle of the first quarter. And it is important that you position your nonprofit for grant dollars. It's a major revenue stream. It is not your only revenue stream, but it is important to your revenue. All right. So applying for grants, in addition to the other streams of income, your grant dollars can leverage other revenue. Okay. And so on Thursday, I'm going to be breaking down to you in this upcoming clinic. It's free. It's going to be at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, about what to expect and what to have included in your grant process. All right. You hire grant writers to write the application, do the research, but there's a lot that's needed on behalf of the organization. All right. The organization consideration that we want to make sure that you are ready for as well. Okay. So I'm excited to again announce that 2023 is the year of execution, the year of implementation, the year of getting it done and not just talking about it. Okay. And those of you who have an amazing program and you are funding it by yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, because when we now start applying for grants and they find out, and it's a public information, all right, that you are funding it yourself, that does not make you look better. If in fact, it could harm you as it relates to securing great dollars. So we want to put you in the right position. We want to make sure that you are able to stand up and stand out in the areas that come into consideration outside the application. All right. These are areas and factors that the funder thinks about, talks about, and considers outside of the initial request. Okay. And I want to make sure that you guys have this information. So go ahead and register for the workshop on Thursday. It is free. All right. Go to bit.ly, bit.ly / get grant funding, FUNDING, get grant funding. All right. And those of you that register and attend, I will be sharing with you this particular document just so that you can have it for your records. All right. I look forward to assisting, to sharing all of the things that I have used in my 35 years of writing grants, of how I've gotten over, hundreds of millions of dollars in grants. Okay. And that for the clients that we work for. A lot of it has to do with your organization. Okay. The grant writing is a part of it, but making sure that you are in position to respond and to represent and to reflect the things that also go into consideration for the funder. We want to make sure that you have those as well. It's not just the application, it's other things that may not be commonly seen or viewed in every application, but definitely comes into the decision-making process of the funder. All right. I hope this information was helpful. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I want to thank you all for the work that you all do. Y'all know this is something that's a passion of mine, and I am committed in 2023 to share the process. This is not just a training for training's sake. This is a clinic so that you are equipped, that you are informed, that you know what to do and when to do it, and that you have the greatest success as it relates to your grant writing, grant receiving, grant awarding journey. All right. And a lot of that includes knowing or anticipating or being prepared to respond to the things that the funder takes into consideration when they're making a decision about who gets the grant dollar. All right. I'm going to take away all of the mystery, and I'm going to answer any and all of your questions on Thursday evening. All right. The link is in the title, bit.ly/get grant funding. I'll also put it in the comments. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, for those of you who are listening on TikTok, please feel free to reach out to me if you would like more information on how to sign up or get into the next upcoming clinic. And I'd be happy to share this document with you as well. All right. You all have an amazing rest of your evening. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday and answering any questions that you all might have. If you have anything, any comment, please comment below. Please comment below. Please comment below. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you. And those of you all who are watching the replay, hashtag replay, hashtag replay. All right. You guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later.